Hey travelers, well today we've got some breaking news about the new Dine Your Way breakfast plan promo that they're offering at the AMR Resorts brand of resort hotels. That would be Zoetry, Breathless, Secrets, Dreams, Now, Reflect, and Sunscape properties. So let's find out a little bit more about what this has to offer. So one of the things that the AMR brand of all-inclusive resorts has done to encourage travelers as resorts begin to reopen in the next few coming weeks is they've offered what is called a Dine Your Way program, or a breakfast plan promo. So it's a totally separate rate that you can get. You can book it only through AMR properties or through a travel agent. And it's a little bit different setup. What they're trying to do is encourage travelers who might be in a little bit of financial stress right now, but do want to get away, and to give them an option to try something slightly different. So what they're doing is, instead of only offering the all-inclusive rate, which they have traditionally done, they are, from now until, for travel through December 22nd of this year, they are offering this breakfast plan promo, or also known as Dine Your Way. Your rate that you pay includes only the room and breakfast, and the breakfast would be held at the buffet. And so it's just one meal a day that's included. And you might think, well, you know, for certain people, I can see where this would be really useful. For example, if you don't drink, if you don't eat a lot, or you're going to be doing lots of off-site exploring or excursions, then what's the point of paying for food and drinks all day at the resort when you're not even there to enjoy it? So perhaps even on an occasional basis, this might be worthwhile. And the great thing is, with this particular program, you can purchase the breakfast plan rate, and then you can add in some a la carte all-inclusive factors down the road. So for example, with the breakfast plan, the buffet is included every day. The rate that you pay for the room includes the buffet, and it is the same price that you would pay whether it's single or double occupancy. So there's no single supplement, which is another great positive. If there's a third adult in the room, adult being anybody over the age of 12, then there would be an additional fee. We have not seen what that would look like at this point in time, and it does vary from property to property. The breakfast plan rate only applies to a lead-in room, so the most basic room category, but I have seen some properties that have a little bit of upgrade available. So for example, in Secrets Los Cabos, Puerto Los Cabos, you can actually book a breakfast plan rate for the swim-up room. And then if you were to compare that to the all-inclusive rate, it's not quite double, but it's pretty close. The rate includes the breakfast buffet, as I mentioned. It does not include room service. And of course, any other meals and drinks that you purchase while you're there would be a room charge. You can't pay cash at the restaurant to have a drink, to get a coffee, a bottle of water, a snack. Any of that is going to be purely based on a room charge. So consequently, you do have to have a credit card available at check-in, and that goes on your account. And then everything is charged to you at the end of the trip. Now you can upgrade if you get to the resort and you decide, oh, we've just made a terrible decision. We want to party it up, or we're really hungry, or we've looked at the prices and it's going to cost us way more. You can upgrade to the all-inclusive program. That's not off the table. It is of course based on availability, but really what resort is going to turn down additional revenue? There are various other options that you can do. So for example, you can do the all-inclusive. Now, we're trying to get pricing on this, but because the resorts aren't even reopened yet, it's very difficult to get an exact number on this. But we're seeing some examples where, from the contacts that I have, it's looking like about $64 a day would be the upgrade rate for all-inclusive. Food for dinner upgrading is a little bit confusing because they list two different prices. They're saying $28 for dinner, or sorry, for food add-on, but then they're saying $40 for dinner. So I think there was a little bit of miscommunication in the particular email that I saw. And I think it's food is $28 and drinks would be $40 to add that in as an all-inclusive option. But more to come on that. This whole thing was announced yesterday, so we're trying to get as much information as we can, but it is a bit tricky. Basically seeing that all bar service is going to be a la carte charges, and any of the resorts that I've seen, the resort drink prices are usually not quite as expensive as what we would see here in Canada or the US, but they're certainly more expensive than if you were to go to, you know, an off-site restaurant. And I don't know that they'll have happy hour either to give you some additional discounts. Breakfast plan guests are gonna have to wear a wristband, so that's something to consider. I mean, it's not a deal breaker, and you will still have access to the rest of the resort. So the gym, the kids club, the pools, loungers, you know, all of that stuff is still part of your stay. And it also does not include the mini bar, room service, as I mentioned, or any other meal or drinks. So if you think about it, even if you don't drink, coffee in the morning, 4 to 5 bottles of water minimum per day, just to stay hydrated, juice possibly, you know, that kind of thing, you are gonna still be adding on for drinks. And if it's $4 or $5 per beverage, pretty soon that all-inclusive rate of potentially $64 a day is starting to look pretty attractive once you factor in your meals and stuff like that. Again, if you're doing an excursion day, you're going to Shelha or Tulum for the whole day and you're going to be eating while you're on the excursion, you're double paying, but you know, it's something you've got to balance and keep in mind. So there's really a lot of things that you have to put into consideration when you're considering this, and you really have to know the property. So if you are going to book this, I strongly recommend that you speak to your travel agent because they know the properties, they know where they're located, they know which ones are going to have relatively easy walkability and which ones aren't. In Cabo San Lucas, which is hopefully opening in July, the Reflect in San Jose del Cabo, sort of walkable to town, but it would be a super cheap cab ride or even Uber, really inexpensive. Breathless has wicked walkability. It's right on the Cabo San Lucas Marina, so very close to bars and restaurants. We would do easily 10 to 15,000 steps a day when we were staying there earlier this year, at the beginning of March actually. And really easy to get around and go to bars or restaurants. Dreams Los Cabos and Secrets Puerto Los Cabos, no, you are having to take a taxi or an Uber to walk to any nearby restaurants or bars. So if you were to, for example, Dreams Tulum is in the name, it is not in Tulum. It is near Tulum, but you're still probably talking a $20 to $30 taxi ride to get to Tulum. So these are things that you need to take into consideration. Anything pretty much in Cancun, as long as it's not in Riviera Cancun, which is outside of Cancun, or Playa Mujeres, which is again outside of the area. Anything directly in Cancun, especially on the Cancun Strip, is going to have good walkability. So you just need to know the properties, but it's interesting that they've come up with this as a means for people to consider other options in terms of how they book things. Is it going to be widely appealing? I don't think so. But I'm just here to tell you what it is, and you can decide for yourself. So that's the breaking news that we have for you today. As I learn more about this, I'll either post it down below or I'll do another video if things change and we can actually get some pricing information and some additional details. But for now, that's what's happening at AM Resorts, and that is the Dine Your Way program with the breakfast plan promo. If you have questions, please post them below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notified about any future videos. And thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.